On March 8, 2014, a Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777 took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, bound for Beijing. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members from 14 different nations. They were all looking forward to their trip, none more so than the 157 Chinese nationals on board. It was the first day of the Chinese New Year, and many were returning home after celebrating with their families. For the pilots, it was just another flight, a routine overnight trip. But within minutes of takeoff, everything would change. At 1:19 a.m., the pilots contacted air traffic control to say, "Good night, Malaysian 370. For the first few hours, authorities believed the plane had crashed. As it was flying over the South China Sea, a busy area with numerous oil rigs and islands, search operations began immediately. But as the sun rose over the horizon, it became clear that the plane was nowhere to be seen. Fuel wouldn't have been an issue. At cruising altitude, the 777 could fly for several hours. Something wasn't right. In the early hours of the morning, military radar data revealed what had happened. MH370 had turned west. It crossed the Malaysian peninsula and then turned again, heading out over the Indian Ocean. The plane was flying with no lights, avoiding civilian radar. But military radar can pick up the faintest blip. This was enough to send shockwaves across the globe. Someone or something was controlling the plane. Whoever was at the controls was guiding it thousands of miles away from its intended destination. As the plane continued to fly, fuel would have become a critical issue. Authorities now believed that MH370 was on a flight path towards the remote southern Indian Ocean. This area is one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. It is thousands of kilometers from any land mass and some of the deepest waters on the planet. To search for the plane here would be incredibly difficult. But first, they needed to confirm that this was where the plane had gone. On March 24, 2014, a French satellite company published analysis of the data. It revealed that on 2 occasions, MH370 had performed handshakes with a satellite. These are automatic signals sent by planes to update their position. In both instances, the plane was over the southern Indian Ocean. The first handshake came at 2:25 a.m. when the plane was over the Malacca Strait. The second came at 8:11 a.m. when it was out in the middle of the ocean. These handshakes paint a clear picture. MH370 did indeed end its flight in the Indian Ocean, but they reveal nothing about how or why the plane got there. Since then, dozens of theories have emerged. Some investigators believe the captain deliberately flew the plane to its fate. His name was Zahari Ashman. He was an experienced pilot with 19,000 hours of flight time. But he also had a personal connection to the area where the plane went down. The last time he flew this route, his wife was waiting for him back in Beijing. She had taken her own life just weeks before. Some investigators believe he may have wanted to join her. Other investigators point to problems with the plane itself. One theory claims a sudden decompression caused the pilots to lose consciousness. This could have been caused by a malfunction in the plane's electronics or even a fire in the cargo hold. There's also speculation that someone or something may have hacked into the plane's systems. But these theories fail to explain why the plane continued to fly for hours after any potential incapacitation. Some believe the plane was hijacked, but if so, who was responsible and where were they taking the plane? Even the compasses in the phones of the passengers were knocked out, meaning nobody knew which way was up or down. For those who survived the crash, the ordeal would have been terrifying. Nobody on board knew what was happening. Many of them would have jumped to the conclusion that they were going down. Then suddenly, the plane would level out and turn. Those still alive would have looked around in confusion. Who had taken control of the plane, and where were they going? Even now, 11 years on, the world may never know the full story. All we're left with are questions. What really happened to MH370? Was this a case of pilot suicide, sabotage, terrorism, or mechanical failure? The only certainty is that this was one of the most haunting mysteries in modern aviation history. A plane, 239 lives, and a world still searching for answers. Now it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below. What do you think happened to MH370? And remember to follow, stay tuned for more content. Thank you for watching.